Davis on Saturday at 4 p.m.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
Congrats on the win. I was kind of keeping track on Game Tracker, and the first 10 minutes were not very – I mean, I was just curious, how frustrating were the first 10 minutes for you? You know, how badly did your team play, and then how proud were you of how they came back?
Well, I don't think that they played badly. I've seen badly. I've seen badly from us this year. They weren't in that category, but it was a little bit an anxious time, I think, for them and for us because shots didn't fall for us, and they were makeable shots. So there was some concern there, but at the same time, the sense that I got from the team, and certainly after the game, the sense that they shared with me was that they were going to win the game. I don't really know what the feeling was, but they had complete confidence. Thank God that they did. You know, they showed up and just kept working and working. We did dig a big hole to start out the game for sure, but the resiliency and great team play. Again, we had some other people step up. It wasn't just Rachel having to go to town for us and score 26 points, but certainly we had great play off of Ashley Burns, which we have all season. Her coming in and being a major point production for us. Some really great defensive presence from Tamara Wells. You know, some outstanding play, offensive rebounding from Kayla Griffin, some solid scoring from Reeves. I mean, it was just an all-around great team effort. And even the players that didn't get to play a lot of minutes, they're still really supportive in what we were trying to do on the court and stay real positive, even though it looked a little sketch there early on the game.
Talk about the kind of confidence boost it gives you guys winning the opener on the road and now having 2 conference games at home.
Well, obviously quality opponents that we're going to be facing this week at home. To get the thing started, though, and to beat a fine Long Beach State team, I think our team really, they really, I don't know the real word for it, but the muster that they had, the desire, the persistence, I think it was something to really build on, and we're going to need it. Obviously, this Big West race is going to be just craziness, and so every game, we said that when we lost to Santa Clara last week in overtime, every game was going to be exactly like that for the whole conference, and, you know, I was really pleased. We had 11% turnover rate, which was a season low for us against a team that mixes up their defenses constantly and is super athletic. So I thought that we had really good presence of mind. And offensively, although we weren't scoring in the 40 or 50 percentile, for us to pull out a win, it was important for us to be all over the offensive glass and to do an awesome job on the defensive boards. And that's an area, our preseason, that I've been really pleased with our development.
Talk about what you have coming up this week with Pacific and then always the big game with Davis. Just kind of talk about the keys to each game.
Yeah, well, obviously Pacific's got some different things, different aspects of their game than what they had last year. They've got an inside presence that wasn't probably as strong as it was last year when they had such great guard play. They still have the great guard play. They've just added some size on the inside. So they're a better balanced team offensively. Defensively, we're expecting to see some of the similar things that they did last year, which was pressure defense the whole game, full court defense. We have been playing that a little bit ourselves this year, as well as facing quality opponents that also played some pressure defense full court. So hopefully we've got some things in our background that have better prepared us this year for what we might face against them. I think that Davis is still pretty much the clear-cut selection as far as their consistency over the course of the preseason schedule as far as being a Big West contender. So obviously both games are going to be major challenges for us this week. And Davis is always a special challenge because what they do defensively is unlike anything that we've seen in the preseason from opponents. And offensively, we haven't seen anybody that really runs the Princeton offense as effectively as they do. So those will be major challenges for us in preparation this week.
Hey, Coach, 12 games in, do you feel like your team's still trying to form an identity? I mean, do you feel like the consistency still isn't really where you'd like it to be at right now?
Absolutely. I do think that we're moving in the right direction. We have some setbacks here and there as far as bumps in the road. I felt like the Santa Clara game was a game that, had I been more trusting in our ability to press, I think that we could have and should have come away with a win there. And, I'm going to take full responsibility for not putting them in the position to really amplify their greatest strengths. But certainly I think that, we win that game, we're sitting at 500 instead of 2 games below. But I do like how they're progressing. I think they are figuring out what they can do. Hopefully there won't be too many bumps in the road here, but I do think that they're starting to develop who's going to score for them, how they're going to score, what we can do defensively as a team. Those are all things that are starting to be unearthed, I think, as this season has progressed.
Yeah, it seems like, on a nightly basis, a player will emerge, and then maybe they'll follow it up with an inconsistent performance. And so is that frustrating for you when you see a player have a good game, follow it up with maybe, a mediocre game? I mean, that's always an issue with just any player, just, being consistently excellent. But, I mean,
Yeah.
It just seems like the players we can't seem to, back up a great game with another great game.
I think you see that from coaches across the country, that they're always looking for consistency, and the players are too. I mean, they're equally frustrated if they don't have a great performance after they've had a superb performance the night before. That goes to professional ranks as well. You can hear every coach talking about that. It's a frustration level, but at the same time, I understand it. Most of our players that are kind of suffering through that are underclassmen, and they're going to gain confidence and consistency, I think, as they progress and get more and more reps. I think they discover who they are. So it kind of comes with the territory, I think, when you're coaching a young team. Obviously, our goal is to lessen the curves, the ups and downs, and try to get a consistent performance, both in practice and games.
And the 2 games coming up, since they're home games, those are always magnified because, you're supposed to hold court and all that. In terms of trying to get a high a seed as possible for the tournament, talk about the importance of 2 home games and
well, every
and
game for
defending your home
us,
court.
every game for us is I think, preparation for a championship, and that's how we're trying to approach it. Like, this game is vital. You saw what happened in the Big West. It's going to be anybody's ball game this year, and whoever is playing well on that given night. Well, we have to have some things that are going to be consistent. Effort has to be consistent. Defensive intensity and execution has to be consistent. Our shooting performance, I think, is going to be maybe the least consistent. But we definitely want to have a consistency about how we're contributing. Are we attacking the basket? How much three-point shooting are we doing? Are we getting to the free throw line? Those are the consistent areas that we want to have. Can we do a great job on the defensive boards? Can we continually pound the offensive glass? We have some control over some aspects of the game. Other aspects we may not. We don't have control over how the officials are calling things. We don't have control over necessarily how our opponent is shooting on a given night. Some control, not complete control. We had a shot against Santa Clara that they hit a bank three-pointer. Come on. Really? You have those moments like, God, you did everything you could, and then they still shoot something that, you probably couldn't bank on for a horse game. So different things that are out of your control, but we're going to always try to control our effort, our execution as much as we can, and our performance defensively.
Faith, when you were talking about identity, it seemed like last year and going into this year that I can only speak for myself, but it's like I expected you guys to win when you had Christina. And if I didn't expect you to win, I knew it was going to be a pretty darn close ball game. Has that mindset changed? It has for me, but I'm asking about your team. Do you sense that mindset changed a lot?
I think there's still a desire to win. They still have a great focus on trying to win a championship. I think they're trying to do everything that they can to improve in different areas that the coaches still bring to mind about how they can win a championship. The easy parts, give the ball to Christina and let her do her thing, gone. We don't have that as an option. So now who else is going to develop their skills so that we can put them into a position where they feel great confidence? That's the part that's the discovery at this stage of the game. This team has a capacity because they are really team-oriented. If we can get 5 players scoring double figures, we're going to win some ball games. If it becomes a total reliance on Clancy or Burns or any single player to achieve it, it's not going to happen. Even with T last year, she had other components. If she didn't have Clancy on the court and Lang on the court, we weren't going to win a game, even as great as a player as she is. It's the same thing with any team, I think. If you have one player, you have a harder time getting that player to lead a team, unless maybe it's Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan still couldn't win games unless he had Pippen, unless he had Paxton, unless he had Luke Longley, all those pieces together that were all willing to do their parts to help it be successful. Does that lessen his ability? No. He's still she is the greatest player to ever play the game. Sorry, Kobe. But he is. That's what we're discovering, how to bring the other pieces of the puzzle together to have a great team. And as far as I know, they're still awarding championships to teams. So that's what we're pursuing.